Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Eat your broccoli, Princess OPD. What's up, y'all? Welcome in, you guys. I appreciate you guys dropping by. 420, what's up, bro? Just waiting for a few more people to drop in, and then we'll get started. This is going to be quite the read for this chapter on this book that I got. This chapter is Cochise County Graves and Cemeteries. It's going to be 36 pages. It's going to be quite the read. It's the longest chapter I've read out of here. How's everybody doing? You guys doing good today? We got 4 and 4. All right. Wait a couple more minutes. At least get a few more in here. We'll get started. Actually, it is today. Eat your broccoli. It's a bit cloudy. Got some cloud coverage, but sun is shining today. Wanted some rain though. I think everybody does. Hey Charlie, what's up? Charlie, I'm at the historic Railroad Avenue Park. All right. Oh, got enough in here. I'll go ahead and get started here, guys. So, Chapter 3. Not sure what it. Yeah. Not sure if I put Chapter 4 on the title, but Pomona? No, Charlie. I'm in Wilcox, Arizona, bro. I get that a lot. A lot of people think I'm in California. No, I'm in Arizona. Okay, well, we'll get started here on Chapter 3 in Cochise County Graves and Cemeteries. Okay. Cochise County, created from Pima County in 1881, was named for Apache Chief Cochise, who, along with a band of Chiricahua Apaches, made his stronghold in the Dragoon Mountains. The area boomed in 1878 when Triflin, a prospector, located several silver claims in the area and founded Tombstone. Tombstone served as a county seat until 1929 when it was moved to Bisbee. The town of Tombstone is famous for the 1881 gunfight at the OK Corral, which involved the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday versus Billy Clanton and the McLaury brothers. A number of Western movies, including the original 1957 version of 310 to Yuma, have been made in the county. Cochise County's towns and rural areas contain a number of interesting cemeteries. Welcome whoever's in. You guys can go ahead and hit that like button. Appreciate it, guys. Okay, right here. Get it to focus. Johnny Ringo. This is Johnny Ringo's grave. The outlaw supposedly born John Peters Ringgold. Although this is disputed by some in Indiana on May 30th, 1850. Died on July 13th, 1882. His family moved to Missouri when he was 6. When Johnny's father, Martin Ringgold, came down with tuberculosis, he decided to move his family to San Jose, California, in search of a drier climate. During the 5-month journey, John sustained a serious foot injury. Indians attacked the family wagon and John witnessed a murder. An accidentally misfired shotgun took the life of his father, forcing the family to bury him along the trail. By age 19, John had developed a taste for alcohol and he left home for Texas, where he became involved in the Mason County or Hoodoo War over cattle ownership. During this time, he shortened his surname to Ringo. Ringo moved to Arizona Territory, where his profession was listed as speculator in the 1882 Great Register of Cochise County. He rustled cattle and committed robbery, and one day his body was found in West Turkey Creek near Tombstone. He was sitting in a tree with a gunshot wound to the head. The coroner declared the act of suicide and ordered him buried a few feet from his place of death. Among the suspects rumored to have possibly killed Ringo were Wyatt Earp, Lou Cooley, Buckskin Frank Leslie. The tree is still there, and the grave now has a designated Arizona Historical Society marker. The site is located on private property about 100 yards from the owner's house, and visitors must check with the owner before going to see the grave. President James A. Garfield Memorial and its inscribed bricks are part of the fireplace of the Faraway Branch, which is under the Angius of the Chiricahua National Monument. The stones inscribed with the names and ranks of soldiers stationed at the Bonita Canyon Camp were carved by the Black Buffalo soldiers of the 10th Cavalry as a tribute after Garfield's assassination. As they were redeployed, people took pieces of the memorial. To preserve it, rancher Ed Riggs dismantled it and remade it as a fireplace. As a Civil War officer, Garfield commanded black troops, and as president, he was sympathetic to the plight of black Americans. The Bonita Canyon Camp was established as part of the U.S. military's Geronimo campaign, which began in September 1885 and ended in September 1886 with the surrender of Geronimo. Hey, conspiracy music. Welcome in, brother. Appreciate you dropping in, man. Okay. Louis Prue was born on June 1843 in Canada. He enlisted on October 15, 1861 as a private in Battery H, 2nd New York Heavy Artillery. He transferred to Company F, 14th Veteran Reserve Corps as a private on September 9, 1865. He settled in the Sulphur Springs area in 1879, was reportedly the first white settler in that locale. Prue got married and established a cattle ranch. The Erickson family laid him to rest under the oak on the hillside of the mouth of Bonita Canyon after he died from a fall off a horse on December 16, 1892. Hey, Mr. Bean and GW. What's up, guys? I'm going to get you guys to hit that like button. I appreciate it, guys. So always remember that like button when we come in. Helps out the channel. Okay, right here we have Lillian Erickson Briggs is pictured at left in her wedding dress. Lillian's story, which is central to the faraway homestead in the Chiricahua Mountains, began when she was born on February 9, 1888. An aggressive, liberated woman, she was known in her later years as the Lady Boss. On April 22, 1918, she and her sister Hildegard purchased a Stafford homestead for $5,000. They paid for the land with Lillian's teaching wages, a bank loan, money from guests, and income from their cattle. The sister began hosting visitors for a week or more, feeding them and offering them horseback trips into the Chiricahua Mountains. They named the site Faraway Ranch. The Erickson Briggs Cemetery is located on Route 186, and its earliest burials occurred in 1885. When Hildegard married and left, Lillian operated Faraway Ranch by herself until she married Edward Briggs in 1923, a year that marked the beginning of major development of the ranch. Lillian and Ed operated the ranch for vacationers, and Lillian ran it by herself for over 20 years after Ed died in 1950. Even after losing her eyesight, she loved riding on the property. In 1973, Lillian entered a rest home in Wilcox, and her family let longtime foreman Andy Anderson take care of the ranch. She died on April 26, 1977, at age 89. Okay. Pictured here are from left to right Neil Erickson, his wife Emma, their children Hildegard and Lillian, Lillian's husband Ed Briggs. Neil was born in Sweden in 1859 and died in 1937. Neil served as an Indian fighter in the U.S. Army and traveled the mountains of Cochise County on maneuvers. In 1887, after Geronimo surrendered, Neil settled down to ranching and a career with the newly formed Division of Forestry. Edward Murray Briggs was born on September 22, 1885, and died June 29, 1950. Emma Sophia Peterson, born in Sweden on May 24, 1854, died at age 96 in the Douglas, Arizona hospital on December 12, 1950. When her mother died giving birth to her seventh child, Emma's father married the family housekeeper. Emma did not get along well with her stepmother, and by the time she was a teenager, she decided it was time to leave home. She immigrated to the United States, where her brother and sister were living. In the 1880s, she met Neil Erickson and worked as a domestic at Fort Bowie, Arizona, and opened a boarding house at Fort Bowie. The old Jewish cemetery in Douglas, which was founded in 1904, was restored in 1992. It appears to be the first Jewish cemetery in Arizona. It contains 30 identifiable graves. Early Douglas and nearby Bisbee were prosperous towns with many Jewish merchants. The cemetery is located on the eastern limits of Douglas and 2 blocks north of the international border. Beth Shapiro was born on August 24, 1910 in El Paso and died November 1st, 1963 in Los Angeles. She resided in Douglas for most of her life until her family moved to California in 1950. All right, guys, we got 9 thumbs up, 7 people in here. Pretty awesome, guys. Appreciate you. I want to go ahead and make somebody a mod in here so that way you guys can drop each other's links. I don't see any mods in here. Charlie, I'm going to go ahead and make you a mod. Oh, it's not letting me. What the hell is the deal? Oh, I'll have to do the mod thing later, man, because it's not letting me here. I'm touching the name and it's just putting a little circle on there like it's zooming in. Oh, all right, cool. Never mind. We have a mod in. Welcome in, Cheryl. It's all right, Charlie. Cheryl's in, so she can drop some links here for you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Cheryl. Okay, both Isidore Elitsky and his wife Zlate were born in Russia. Isidore was born March 9th, 1885. He arrived in Douglas around 1912 and ran a furniture store and a junkyard. The Elitsky remains were reinterred into the Calvary Cemetery in Douglas, so all that is left in the Jewish cemetery is their headstone decorated with the Star of David and a 7-branched menorah, which dates back to the Temple of Solomon. Isidore died on February 2nd, 1944 of heart trouble and asthma. Little is known of Daniel Silver, who was born in 1926 and died in 1957, except that he was Jewish. The symbols on each side of the Star of David are Hebrew for "Here Lies." You missed, I think it was chapter 2, Cheryl, that they showed a couple of grave markers that had sunken into the ground. And that really tripped me out. I was like, you can just barely see the top of the headstone, but it was sunk so low into the ground. Hey, Wolfman. Hey, better late than never, man. Judah Krueger, a Bisbee merchant with a store on Brewery Gulch, was born on November 28, 1880 and committed suicide on July 24th, 1934. His remains were taken to Houston in 1947. He left 3 notes, all written in Yiddish, to his wife living in Tucson. He said he was ending 30 years of suffering. In another note addressed to I. Jacobson, Krueger asked that he be buried in Douglas in a suit of clothes from his store and that the funeral be inexpensive. Charles Fruitman, a longtime friend, told police he had visited Krueger the day before and that he appeared to be in a nervous state. Fruitman returned to Krueger's store and, finding it locked from the inside, notified police. Chief Jail Ramsower broke the lock on the door, and in the back part of the store they found Krueger lying dead in a pool of blood next to a .38 caliber revolver. Yikes. Krueger was survived by his widow and 5 children and a brother in Dallas. That's very, very unfortunate. All right, getting a little bit into the Wilcox area here, guys. This Dos Cabezas was settled in 1878, and the town soon had a barber shop, a general store, a brickyard, a hotel, a blacksmith, a post office, and a population of about 300 people. Dos Cabezas thrived for decades as a transportation center and mining town, but after the mines closed and most of the residents left the area, the town lost its post office in 1960. Today, the ruins are visible off the highway on Arizona State Route 186, south of Wilcox. The Dos Cabezas Pioneer Cemetery is the final resting place of many southern Arizona ranching families, including the Clumps. Their graves display icons including horses and brands related to their profession. John Daniel Dan Clump of Wilcox died on December 30th, 2005 in Tucson at the age of 77. Born in Bowie on February 15, 1928. He had been a longtime rancher in Cochise County and an avid Wilcox livestock auction observer and participant. Alrighty. In January 1980, Chiricahua National Monument ranger Paul Fugate disappeared while on foot patrol in the Chiricahua backcountry, and what happened to him remains a mystery. When he did not return, the National Park Service and the Cochise County Sheriff's Department mounted extensive efforts to find him, but turned up nothing. Fugate's remains have never been recovered, but the park contains this monument marking his disappearance. He just disappeared. No trace. Alright. If ghosts get lost, Bisbee's Evergreen Cemetery had street signs to help guide them back home. This Pioneer Cemetery, located in the Lowell suburb of Bisbee, was established in 1912 as a result of concerns that water contamination was the cause of a series of typhoid outbreaks. The cemetery reflects the multicultural flavor of this community. Mine, mill, and smelter employees and vendors came to Bisbee from all over the United States, Mexico, Canada, and Europe. The Ancient Order of United Workmen was formed by John Jordan Upchurch in 1868 in Meadsville, Pennsylvania. Upchurch, a mechanic, organized the AOUW in hopes of forming a group that would unite the conflicting interests of labor and management. This organization provided benevolent insurance for its members, widows, and orphans. Through Upchurch, a Freemason, the AOUW took on a number of Masonic features. It held secret rituals and the square and compass. Damn it, I lost my damn spot. Square and compass and all-seeing eye were organizational symbols. Yeah. Dominic Corretto's lovely Celtic tombstone. The Celtic tombstone with lilies on its cross marks him as a member of the AOUW. Corretto was born on September 8, 1852 and died on December 19, 1900. All right. The symbol of the Independent Order of Oddfellows is the 3-link chain. The links represent friendship, love, and truth. This organization has its roots in England when where it was formed in the 1700s. Wow. The IOOF was founded in North America in Baltimore, Maryland, April 26, 1819, and became the first fraternity in the United States to include both men and women when it adopted the beautiful Rebecca degree on September 20th, 1851. Stone marks the area of the Bisbee Pioneer Cemetery where IOF members are buried. All right. I appreciate you guys hanging in there, man. It's going to be quite a read here. I know it was like at least 30 pages, so we got a few more left. Hotel keeper John B. Angius was born on April 28, 1858 in Austria and died on August 24th, 1904 in Bisbee. Angius came to America when he was 20 years old and established a grocery business in Virginia City. When he came to Arizona, he opened a grocery in Tombstone, where he remained until 1887 before returning to Europe and marrying Stana Medigovich. In 1887, he went to Bisbee, where he was in the grocery business until his death. His tombstone has a classical architectural motif with Corinthian columns. The double eagle is an ancient Hittite symbol of power and respect. There's something beautifully mysterious about this Bisbee tombstone with its words, "Thou knowest." It may have come from the poem that says, "Thou knowest, Lord, the weariness and sorrow of the sad heart that comes to thee for rest, cares of today and burdens for tomorrow, blessings implored and sins to be confessed. I come before thee at thy gracious word and lay them at thy feet. Thou knowest, Lord, a single hand is etched in stone above the inscription, Little Grace." Bisbee had a large population of Serbs working its copper mines. Vukosav Lazovic was born in Moravska, Yugoslavia, and on August 15, 1884, and died on December 1st, 1932, in Bisbee. He was the son of Mihailo Lazovic and Stoja Grdic, both born in Moravska, Yugoslavia. He died at the Copper Queen Hospital of pneumonia and influenza. Olga Milovich died on June 30th, 2010, prior to retirement. She worked for many years in an administrative support role in the state capitol for Wesley Bolin, the Secretary of State, as well as for Governor Rose Mofford and other political leaders. All right. This ornate rock bridge tombstone, reminiscent of ancient stone cairns or piled rocks, holds a secret as to who may be buried underneath. In most cultures, rocks represent stability and strength. Although there is no name on this gravestone, Bisbee records indicate that Manuel Figueroa was buried here in 1925. Eddie Hughes. Only one can imagine the grief of a Bisbee father who lost his son at sea during World War II. The inscription on this tombstone reads, "To the memory of the 107 dead of the USS Boise, including my son Roy Edward Hughes, age 26, killed in action off Guadalcanal on the night of October 11, 1942. All were buried at sea." Joseph Cullen Root founded the Modern Woodmen of America because he wanted to create a fraternal benefit society that would bind people of all religions and races. Root chose the name Woodman after being inspired by a sermon that talked about woodmen clearing the forest to provide for their families. After being convicted from the MWA, Root formed Woodmen of the World, headquartered in Omaha, Nebraska, a group famous for its members' tree stones. From 1890 to 1900, WOW's life insurance policies provided for grave markers, which were free of charge for members. The society still makes certain that no woodman or woman shall rest in an unmarked grave. George Warren died on February 13th, 1893 in Bisbee, but he never enjoyed the riches and died an alcoholic. In 1880, photographer Camilla Sydney took a photograph of Warren. The image was used on the state seal of Arizona, possibly making Warren the only drunk on a state seal. His pauper's grave originally marked by a wooden plank that said GW 24. Hey George, GW was later replaced with this monument. Warren owned an interest in the Copper Queen mine, which, according to legend, he lost while betting on a foot race with a horse in 1879. He was judged to be insane by Cochise County Court probate judge J.H. Lucas, and his property was sold at public auction. Warren went to Mexico and sold himself into peonage, but Judge G.H. Berry paid off his debt so he could return to Bisbee. He did odd jobs around saloons in exchange for whiskey. A death certificate indicates that he died of pneumonia and heart failure. Prospector Edward Lawrence Triflin was born on September 24, 1847 in Pennsylvania and died May 12, 1897. Triflin was employed by the Army as an Indian scout, but he prospected on the side. He followed the military to Fort Huachuca when they were chasing Geronimo. At the end of each day, the soldiers would ask him what he had found, and when he replied nothing, they said the only thing he would find was his tombstone. When Triflin made his way to Arizona and found his rich silver claim sometime around 1878, he called it Tombstone. With the wealth he acquired after hitting a silver lode in Tombstone, Triflin went to San Francisco in 1883, where he met and married Mary Brown. They settled in Los Angeles, and he later headed out to Oregon to prospect again. In 1897, at the age of 49, he was found dead at the table in his cabin. He had rich gold ore with him, but no one knew where he had found it. In his will, he asked to be buried near Tombstone in his miner's clothing with his pick and canteen. His remains are interred under his monument located just outside Tombstone. The Jewish monument at Tombstone's Boot Hill graveyard was erected after Judge C. Lawrence Huerta and the Israel Reuben family were shown an adobe brick wall that was supposed to mark the Jewish cemetery. Reuben recited the traditional Kaddish prayer. In March 1983, the Tombstone City Council approved Huerta's restoration efforts, and his plans were endorsed by the Jewish Friendship Club of Green Valley, Arizona. The club erected a monument to commemorate Jewish pioneers and dedicated the site on October 1983. The Star of David is positioned on its east and west sides, and on the south side is a Hohokam Indian sun symbol. The monument contains Jewish and Indian religious items, including soil from Israel. The flames of the menorah atop the monument spell Shalom, symbolizing the hope that all who share Mother Earth can dwell together in harmony. Although there were Jewish residents in Tombstone, there is no evidence that anyone is buried here. Alright. Here we got A horse-drawn hearse on exhibit at the Birchgate Theater Museum in Tombstone. It was owned by Watt and Tarbell Undertaking Parlor of Tombstone. The hearse took the dead to Boot Hill Cemetery from 1881 to 1906. Tarbell owned the Tarbell Undertaking Parlor on 418 Allen Street in 1887. That's how they used to take the bodies to the cemetery, guys. During the gunfight at the OK Corral, Tom and Frank McLaury and William Harrison, Billy Clanton, were killed. They were embalmed and placed on display in the window of a Tombstone hardware store, where they were photographed. Their funeral was a major event in Tombstone, and their interment in the town cemetery was attended by hundreds of sympathetic mourners. It's crazy the way they buried people like that, with the rocks on top like that. Yeah, that'd be something else there, Ben. Put a motor on it. Right down here, guys. The Tombstone Nugget reported that the funeral of Billy Clanton and Tom and Frank McLaury was the largest ever witnessed in Tombstone. The bodies of the three men were neatly dressed and placed in handsome caskets with heavy silver trimmings. The silver plate on each casket was inscribed with the deceased's name, age, birthplace, and date of death. The procession was headed by the Tombstone Brass Band playing the March of the Dead. The first wagon, which contained the body of Billy Clanton, was followed by a hearse carrying Tom and Frank McLaury. The two brothers were buried in one grave, and Clanton was placed nearby. All right, I believe some of you have seen this before. At Tombstone's Boot Hill graveyard, humorous grave markers such as the one pictured at right have caused some to question the cemetery's authenticity. The cemetery itself is real, however, some markers were added much later, and the city of Tombstone replaces the wooden markers as they fade or become weathered. Lester Moore worked as a Wells Fargo station agent in the border town of Naco, Arizona. One day in 1880, Hank Dunstan arrived at the station to pick up a package. When Moore handed him a badly battered package, Dunstan became angry over its condition. The men argued and both reached for their guns. Dunstan shot Moore 4 times, though Moore managed to fire off one shot of his own, mortally wounding Dunstan. Moore's body was transported to Tombstone, where he was buried in the Boot Hill graveyard. He became famous for the epitaph. Here lies Lester Moore, 4 slugs from a 44, no less, no more. And less with it being his name. That's quite the sense of humor. Camilla Sydney Fly is known for his photographs, but he is also known a lawman. He was born May 2nd, 1849 in Missouri. Fly married Mary Goodrich, also a photographer, on September 29, 1879 in San Francisco, and the couple moved to Tombstone in December 1879 and July 1880. They opened up a 12-room boarding house and a studio, which Mary ran while Camillus traveled around the area. In March 1886, Camillus accompanied General George Crook to the Canyon de los Embudos for negotiations with Geronimo. He later became famous for his photographs of Geronimo and other Apaches. Camillus had begun drinking heavily, and Mary took their child and left him. Fly was elected as Cochise County Sheriff in 1895. He ranched in the Chiricahua Mountains until his death at Bisbee on October 12, 1901. Though Camillus and his wife had been separated for years, she was at his bedside when he died and made arrangements to have his body buried at the Tombstone Cemetery. Hey, Mama Gnome. Good to have you in here. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm just reading this book here. This is quite the chapter. It's about 20 pages worth, which I'm just about halfway through this chapter. One of the most famous persons in Tombstone was China Mary Singh, who was born around 1840 in the province of Zhongshan in China. Clad in brocaded silks and jade jewelry, she was influential in the area. Those seeking Chinese domestic labor went to China, Mary, and she also handled prostitutes, gardeners, and opium sources. She guaranteed a laborer's honesty and workmanship. Any work not done to the employer's satisfaction would be redone for free. Payment, however, is made to China Mary, not to the employee. China Mary managed a well-stocked general store that stocked both American and Chinese goods. White men and Asians were both allowed to play fan-tan in the gambling hall behind her store. Damn. China Mary Singh was a pimp. Or a pimpstress. Shit, that's what it sounds like. She had hookers. Hookers, gardeners, and opium sources. Damn. When China Mary died of heart failure, when China Mary died of heart failure, sorry, I'm not laughing at this. I'm just laughing at Cheryl putting the laughing emoji. There was a large turnout for her service. China Mary was buried in Boot Hill Graveyard. Her husband, Alum, born in December 1859 in China, died in Arizona of stomach cancer on May 3rd, 1931. He immigrated to the United States around 1847 and married China Mary on March 14th, 1906. Mary died the same year they were married. Alum is buried in the Tombstone Cemetery. You guys can go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Por favor, if you haven't already. I'll go far. Damn Cheryl. John Heath was born on March 30th, 1851 in New Hope, Texas, and was lynched in Tombstone on February 22nd, 1884. Heath and 5 outlaws, Dan Dode, Red Sample, Tex Howard, Bill Delaney, and Dan Kelly, planned the robbery of the mine payroll from the Goldwater and Castaneda stores in Bisbee on the night of December 9th, 1883. The Phelps Dodge Mining Company's payroll, however, had not arrived. Once they realized that their plan had been foiled, the scene turned deadly. The 2 outlaws in the store robbed customers of jewelry and cash. The 3 who were guarding the entrance outside began shooting wildly. One shot and killed J.C. Tapiner. Deputy Tom Smith came onto the street and was shot dead. Another bullet killed a pregnant woman named Annie Roberts. The outlaw rode off with Cochise County Sheriff Jerome Ward and a posse following in pursuit. Heath, who had remained in a saloon, tried to misdirect the posse, and it turned out he was the mastermind of the outlaws. Over the next couple of weeks, the outlaws were captured and tried in Tombstone, where they were all sentenced to death. However, Heath, who helped plan the robbery, but did not take part in the shootings, got a life term in prison. A Bisbee crowd felt that he was just as guilty as the rest, and they took over the jail and tied up the sheriff and the jailer, and hanged Heath from a nearby telegraph pole. The cause of death was listed as emphysema of the lungs or lack of oxygen, self-induced or otherwise, a common affliction at high altitudes. Heath is buried in the Boot Hill graveyard. Hey, I thank you guys for sticking with me here. Oh, this chapter was a long read, so I appreciate you guys being patient. Attorney Harold Love was born in 1909 and died in 1986. His wife Betty was born on November 5th, 1914 in Detroit and died on November 23rd, 2011 in Chevy Chase, Maryland. In 1964, a group of Detroit investors headed by Love purchased the Tombstone Epitaph, along with the OK Corral, the Crystal Palace, and Triflin Hall. Hey, Harry Bonzel, Independent First Amendment Auditor. Welcome in, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys, man. That's a lot of love right there, man. That's very awesome of you guys. Thank you. Meanwhile, though, in agreement with the University of Arizona, Love and his fellow investors arranged to have journalism students at the college continue to produce and publish a bi-weekly local edition of the Tombstone Epitaph. In 1977, Betty and Harold moved to Tucson and worked to restore Tombstone. All right. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and hit that like button, guys. I always like to remind everybody, just in case they forget. I know I forget sometimes. Harold and Betty Love's grave marker on the tombstone. Damn. Ooh. Man, that smells good over here. About to go over with a plate somewhere. There's a food truck right over there. Right there. And we got the barbecue place over here. So it might be coming from either or. Damn, it smells good. Small steam-lined mausoleum displays a Spartan but elegant use of decorative features that reflect the Art Deco style of the late 1920s. Former Grand County Sheriff and Cochise County Deputy Sheriff Arthur Wright was born on July 22nd, 1856 in Preston, Minnesota. He died during a gunfight on February 10, 1904 and is buried in the Tombstone Cemetery. White had arrested several striking laborers who were causing a public disturbance and placed them in jail. Friends of the arrested men went to the small holding pen, tipped it over, and freed them. White stepped outside and was shot. He was taken to the hospital but died before surgery. E. Iridia was to have been hanged for White's murder, but White's widow pleaded for his wife, and Iridia was given a life sentence. Dr. James M. Morrison, a railroad doctor and lawyer, is buried in Benson's High Street Cemetery. He was born in 1851 and died on February 5, 1941, with no heirs and very little money. In August 2007, the Benson News Sun announced that Louise Larson has raised enough money to pay for Dr. Morrison's gravestone, with the inscription, Benson's Frontier Doctor. It is decorated with an image of his carriage. Morrison practiced medicine for many years and treated patients during the Great Depression, a time when most people were struggling to make ends meet. Hit the thumbs up or Cheryl M will serve up her almost world famous drywall flavored gravy on a stick. That damn dill hole. Oh shit. Hey, Snark and Sass, welcome. Realist 213, welcome in, guys. Hey, let's go ahead and hit the like button, guys. Everybody helps out the channel. David M. Adams was born in Alabama in 1846 and served in the Confederacy Company C 24th Arkansas Infantry Regiment. He died of Bright's disease on February 18th, 1918, and buried in the Texas Canyon Pioneer Cemetery. Adams was engaged in the cattle business. His gravestone is decorated with a lovely scroll and ferns. Francis Adams, born January 17th, 1861, in Alabama, died of pneumonia and heart problems on June 16th, 1938. He was also a rancher and was also involved in mining. His elegant gravestones features a simple cross surrounded by primroses, harbingers of new beginnings. All right. Prim Sebring was a Texas Canyon cattleman born August 13th, 1855 in Bellbrook, Ohio. He died from cancer of the stomach on September 15th, 1917 in Dragoon, Arizona. Prim, the son of John Sebring and Susan Hopkins, was the husband of Margaret Kynes Sebring. His gravestone is a stone representing strength and stability. Oh, that's pretty unique the way they make those. That's awesome. Whoever did that, man, that's some talent right there. All right. There is no doubt that Malcolm M. Bo Giles was a rancher. A riderless horse adorns his gravestone in the Texas Canyon Pioneer Cemetery. He was born on February 6, 1917 on the Fulton Ranch in Dragoon, Arizona. He died on November 11, 2007 in Pierce, Arizona. Giles farmed and ranched until his retirement in 1980. He was a past master of Wilcox Lodge number 10F and AM, free and accepted Masons. And the Elks Lodge is just to the back of me here. Down Stewart Street here. Okay. William Shirley Fulton was born on November 23rd and died November 20th, 1964, in Waterbury, Connecticut. He received a degree from Yale University in 1903. In 1906, he married Rose Hinckley Hayden, and they had two children, William Hayden and Elizabeth. William S. Fulton worked as a machinist apprentice at and later served as president at the Waterbury Farrell Foundry and Machine Company. Damn, I gotta take a breather. Woo. Shit. He began his foundry and machine company. He began his encore career in 1930, and when he established the FF Ranch near Dragoon, Arizona, and engaged in amateur archaeological excavations, publishing his research through the National Museum of the American Indian. In 1937, Fulton established the American Foundation, a private nonprofit archaeological foundation. And the image at left, there we go. Rose and William Fulton danced on their 50th wedding anniversary. Rose was born in Waterbury, Connecticut in 1881. When he traveled to Arizona and New Mexico, she acquired Southwest Indian Arts and Crafts. At the FF Ranch, she raised quarter horses that consistently won top honors at horse shows. She donated her art collection to the American Foundation's museum. Elizabeth Fulton, husband, is pictured at right with her father. William S. Fulton. Elizabeth was born in Waterbury, Connecticut on January 14, 1910. She owned the Fort Spirit Ranch and the Cochise Hotel and gift shop. She outlived two husbands. First Kenneth Gunter and second Thomas B. Husband. She had a long history of service and philanthropy. God damn. Sorry, guys. She had some little tiny ants crawling on my arm here. She had a long history of service and philanthropy, serving on the board of directors for various clubs and the board of directors in the Merit Foundation. Elizabeth contributed many fine examples of Native American art to the Foundation's museum. The cemetery is located at the Dragoon Springs Station on the Butterfield Overland Stage route and contains 7 graves. James Hughes worked for the Overland Mail as a mechanic. William Cunningham and James Lang worked as a mail line and assisted Silas St. John with horses and mules. Cunningham, an Iowa native, shares a grave with Hughes. They, along with Lang, were murdered on September 9, 1858, with 3 members of their own crew during the construction of the station. St. John survived, but his left arm was severed by an axe during the attack. Wow. Thank you, Cheryl, for dropping all the links. I really do appreciate that. Helping each other out and growing each other's channel. I know it's very, very difficult, a very difficult struggle to, especially for me. You know, my count, it was up almost there at 900, and then it dropped. So, you know, every little bit helps. You know, but back to the story here. Samuel Ford's birthday is unknown, but he died on May 5th, 1862, near the Dragoon Springs Station. Ford, whose grave marker is pictured above, was a soldier in Confederate Army Company A. Baylor's Regiment. Ricardo, whose last name is not known, whose grave marker is pictured at the left, was born in Mexico. Yeah, I'm going to try to speed this up a little, guys. I know this is quite a long time. I didn't think there were that many pages here. Your channel ain't garbage, man. Just find something you like to do, man, and it's something that'll spark interest and stick with it. That's all you gotta do. Just keep it interesting, you know. Different variety of things, topics, whatever, you know. The statue, Mourning Hearts, a soldier's family, was unveiled at the Fort Huachuca Cemetery in November 1996. Sculptured by Jessica McCain and funded by the Huachuca Museum Society, is, according to a report from the fort, the first monumental tribute on a U.S. Army installation to a soldier's family. It acknowledges the fact that a soldier's calling often involves the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, I like doing a lot of varieties too, Harry. On August 28th, 1894. Excuse me, guys. Where I'm sitting, I got little tiny ants. Or it could be flies fucking bugging me or something. I'm not sure. It's very annoying. 90-year-old Master Sergeant John P. Campbell died at a nursing home in Phoenix. He was one of the few remaining soldiers who had come to Fort Huachuca as a member of the 10th Cavalry, also known as the Buffalo Soldiers. At Campbell's Fort Huachuca funeral service, pictured above his grave were surrounded by soldiers on horseback in original Buffalo Soldier uniforms. Campbell was a veteran of World Wars I and II and served in 4 of the 6 major black combat units stationed at Fort Huachuca. Campbell came to post as a bugler in 1912. His musical semi-professional baseball with both the cavalry and infantry teams. 1977, he took part in the dedication of the bronze statue of the Buffalo Soldier at Fort Huachuca's main gate. Okay. Geronimo, pictured, is buried in Oklahoma, but his son Little Robe is buried in the Fort Bowie Cemetery in Arizona. Geronimo, the spiritual leader of a group of Chiricahua Apaches, was settled on the San Carlos Reservation in Arizona, but fled from the reservation several times. Geronimo, who finally surrendered on September 4, 1886, was the final Native American warrior to surrender to the federal government. And here's Little Robe, son of Geronimo, where he was buried in Fort Bowie, part of a group of Apache prisoners captured near Nacori, Mexico on August 7, 1885, and brought to Fort Bowie on September 1st. Two of Geronimo's wives, Zia and Shiga, along with another of his sons, Fenton, were also in the group of prisoners. Little Robe, of whom the prisoners had become quite fond, probably died of dysentery. Gleason is now a ghost town, except for a few residents. In the 1880s, prospectors and miners moved in and took over the turquoise mines. Tiffany and Company operated a turquoise mine here for a few years. Around 1900, John Gleason found large copper deposits south of Turquoise and called his claim the Copper Bell. Yeah, oh yeah, they did, man. In October 1900, the Post Office Department opened a post office in Gleason. From 1900 through the 1920s, Gleason thrived. Between World War I and II, the price of copper fell, and by 1930, ranching became the primary occupation in that area. Lopez Flores, whose grave is in the background of this image, was one of the last people buried in the Gleason Cemetery. She was born in 1886 in Reddington, Arizona, and died on June 10, 1942, near Douglas. Alright, we're getting there. We got about six more pages left, guys. I appreciate you guys being patient and sticking with me. Even a mining drillstone finds a place to rest in the peace at the Pierce Cemetery. The inscription reads, 1900 Old Pierce. This rock was used by the Commonwealth mine workers to test their drills. This competition is a timed event in which the driller with the fastest time wins. Large sums of money were waged on these contests, and contestants were trained as if for the Olympics. Since these events could bring them much more money than they could earn in the mines. Wow. The way they made money, guys, says. Competition. George Hart Platt, born in Ohio in 1832, was buried in the Pierce Cemetery on August 6, 1906. He enlisted on December 8, 1863 as quartermaster sergeant in the Union Light Guard, Ohio Cavalry, and was discharged on December 9, 1865. Platt was a member of Tombstone's Burnside Post, Grand Army of the Republic, and served as post chaplain in 1891. He was a member of the Union Light Guard of Ohio, which was formed for the express purpose of acting as bodyguards to President Abraham Lincoln. Good old Abe Lincoln. William Billy Old, born in 1870. He served as an Arizona Ranger. I'm going to cut out the dates, guys, because it's just kind of exhausting. Keep putting out the dates, but you guys can see it. I'll just, read the other stuff here. His grave is decorated with geometric designs, and the inscription at the bottom of the marker is inscribed. This monument is erected by the citizens of Pierce as a tribute to his sterling worth in the discharge of his duty. Old worked as a cowboy and joined the Texas Rangers at age 27. He moved to Arizona and joined the Arizona Rangers in 1903. When a judge appeared to be in cahoots with the cattle thieves, Old sent for Captain Tom Renning. When Renning got there, he found Old talking to the judge about the errors of his ways. The honorable judge, anchored to a mesquite bush with a chain, swore he would act square when horse thieves and rustlers came before him for hearings. Shit. Even back then, guys, judges would get crooked. On November 6, 1906, in Kelvin, Arizona, William Billy Old married 19-year-old Anna Beck. They had 2 sons. When the Arizona Rangers discontinued in 1909, Old went to the work as a special agent for the Southern Pacific. He served as town constable in Pierce and moved his family there. When it came to women, William had a roving eye and Anna became jealous. So on April 28th, Anna shot and killed Billy. She appeared at his funeral in handcuffs. She went to trial 2 years later and was acquitted and later married. She died in 1981 at age 94. Damn. This Cochise County Sheriff Jimmy Judd was born on March 25th, 1933 in Benson, Arizona. He died of cancer on December 2nd, 2005, and approximately 900 mourners attended services at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Benson. Judd served an unprecedented 4 terms as Cochise County Sheriff starting in 1976. In 1994, he was on the judicial bench as city magistrate in Benson. The defining moment in his career came after the October 23, 1982 shootout between Cochise County Sheriff's deputies and members of a fundamentalist religious sect in Miracle Valley. The melee resulted in the deaths of 2 church members and several deputies were injured. Ooh, damn. I'm going to skip over a couple, man, because it's just taking too long. Jeez. I'm sorry, guys. Margaret Ann Taylor was born July 20th in England. She married William Nicholas Goodman on February 27, 1864. William was in poor health and they thought a warmer climate might help. In 1881, the family moved to Mesa, Arizona, finally relocating to St. David. William died from a stroke on March 8, 1885. Margaret sold their only cow to pay for funeral expenses. She bought bars of soap and small articles to sell out of her home and eventually founded Grandma Goodman's store. She worked in the mercantile business for 30 years. She also served as a postmaster at St. David for 20 and room school teachers. Margaret died on March 29, 1926 from pneumonia. And here you go, guys. Warren Baxter. born March 9th in 1855 in Pella, Iowa. Died July 6, 1900 in Wilcox, Arizona. The youngest of the Earp brothers. He came to Tombstone after Morgan Earp's death to help bring the body to California for burial. He joined his brother Wyatt in the vendetta riot to chase those whom they believed had murdered Morgan. Warren was killed by Johnny Boyett at the headquarters saloon in Wilcox, which is right here just across the street from me. He told Boyett that he knew that Boyett had been offered $100 or $150 by parties in town to kill him. Boyett denied his diss and told Earp he did not want any trouble, but added if he would fight him. He was not afraid. Yep, got a train. Hey, we're at the train, guys. Alright, let's continue. Alright, just got a couple more pages here, guys, and then we'll be finished here. Alright, July 6, 1900, Warner told Johnny Boyett to get his gun and said that he was fixed. Boyett walked over to the Wilcox house, went behind the bar, and helped himself to a couple of guns. He returned to the saloon, and when Earp entered through the rear door, Boyett fired 2 shots at him. Earp went out a side door onto the sidewalk, but re-entered a few minutes later. He advanced toward Boyett and opened his coat and said, "You have the best of this. I have no gun." Boyett told him not to advance or he would shoot, but Earp kept coming. Boyett fired and Earp dropped dead. Deputy Sheriff Page, George McKittrick, and Jim Harden arrested Boyett and placed him in jail. Half-open pocket knife was found in Earp's hand, but he was otherwise unarmed. And there's the grave that's buried here out at the old Pioneer Cemetery here, guys, which I have a video on that if you guys want to go back and check that out. The next morning, Judge W.E. Nichols impaneled a coroner's jury, which rendered a verdict that Earp was killed by a bullet fired from Boyett's gun. Boyett had a preliminary hearing before Judge W.E. Nichols, and after evidence was heard, Boyett was discharged. Warren Earp has 2 tombstones in the old Wilcox Pioneer Cemetery. The original one, pictured above, is from when he was actually buried. The other picture left was erected a few years ago to commemorate the anniversary of his death. I don't remember this one being there. This one, yes, but not this one. This one ain't there. I'm gonna have to go out and take a look at that. One more here, guys. Santa Cruz County Sheriff Harry Saxon and his deputy posed with two escapees who were involved in brutal murders at Ruby, Arizona. Saxon, the son of school teachers, was born July 24, 1882 in the mission town of San Gabriel, California. After his father's death, his mother moved the family to the ghost town of Calabasas in Santa Cruz County. Saxon's first job, besides herding his own cattle, was brand inspector. He died on August 11, 1964 in Wilcox and is buried next to his wife, Anna, in the Wilcox Sunset Cemetery. Yep. This is when you enter into the cemetery. As you cross over the cattle guard, these are right there to your left as you come in, or to your right. I'm sorry. They're always facing west. At the age of 22, Saxon was elected sheriff of Santa Cruz County. In addition to his roles as cattle inspector and sheriff, Saxon went on to serve as mayor of Wilcox, organizer of the Three Links Cattle Company, chairman of the Santa Cruz Livestock Sanitary Board, president of the Sulphur Springs Valley Chamber of Commerce, and president of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association. Saxon also served in the House of Representatives of the first Arizona legislature. All right, guys. Whew. Damn, that was quite the fucking read. Jeez. Tomorrow we will finish up 4 and 5, or at least 4. Yeah, we'll do 4 tomorrow, guys. Yep. Chapter 4 tomorrow, guys. Southern Arizona cemeteries. Just want to thank you guys for dropping links. Cheryl, thank you very much. Everybody that's came in, showed support. That's very awesome of you guys. All work, no play. Hey guys, yeah, you guys can go ahead and subscribe to All Work and No Play, man. Get his count up there. Get him some visitors and get his subscriber count up, guys. Help each other out. Wow, that read took an hour and 19 minutes. But I appreciate every one of you guys. This is Jose G up here at the Wilcox Railroad Park on Railroad Avenue, guys, here in Wilcox, Arizona. Thank you guys, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. It's 6:17 here. Yeah, I was just shutting it down, Tapatios. You're a day late and a dollar short, brother. But I will have the video up on public, and you'll be able to watch it if you want to. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, guys. If you can go ahead and hit that like button as you come in. Thank every one of you guys. It's Jose G out here in Wilcox, guys. I'll be back out here tomorrow again, same time. Peace.